Good evening, everybody. That music will never leave our souls. Good evening and welcome to another Analogue Television Season 2. We do not have, you will have noticed, we don't have Ribsy today. He is enjoying life in New York with seeing his family for the first time this year, and from Instagram, looks like he's having a wonderful time. But fortunately, we have a very able replacement. So for a discussion about APS versus 110, and I don't want to say that APS is a cult, but if it was, and if there was a cult leader, then it would be this man, Rob, London Camera Project. Welcome back to the show. How you doing, my friend?
Hi, Paul. I'm Marina.
How are you? This is the show that the Black Lives Matter nearly turned into just because you were there and talking about APS. So here we go, a whole hour dedicated to APS and 110 film formats. I am pretty excited, pretty appalled that it's come to this, but
this day was coming anyway, wasn't it?
Exactly. It's like you've got to lance a boil. You know, you've got to walk towards a barking dog and all that. Right. Enough waffle. Let's get stuck into it. So we all come with different experiences. So before we start, let me just cards on the table. I've shot a lot of 110. I've not shot much APS. Marina?
In my case, I'm fairly new to both formats. I shot 110 and I shot APS film yesterday.
And it's been shot, developed and
scanned.
Perfect. And then, Rob, have you ever shot any APS, mate?
Once or twice.
And what's your 110 experience?
Well, when I was younger, someone gave me a camera, 110 camera, and I shot that, and I think I only put one roll of film through that. And then that was years ago. And then a few months ago, I was taking some stuff to the dump, and on that table where they have electrical equipment, there was this particular camera, this lovely little gem.
Sorry, bring it into the middle, Rob. There's all three of us on the screen. There we go.
Sorry, yeah. It was in a little presentation box. And this guy said he's going to look the other way while I took it, so I took it home.
Did he work at the dump, or was it just...
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah. I didn't explain that bit, did I? Yeah, so he... but this guy that was there, they normally give you grief if you see something that's nice, because they've got someone who's in line to pick stuff up. So I asked him about it. He said, look, I'm going to walk away, and I won't say anything. So he just let me have it, and then I took it home. And it had a roll of 110 in it, which was great. Mm-hmm. And I took that on the Dan Rubin walk.
Nice.
Brixton, yeah. And then I got it developed, and it was absolutely pants. I don't know. It must have been like 40 years old. I don't know. It was terrible. And then on one of the Loma walks, a wonderful Hannah, she gave me a roll of Peacock, which I put through, and that came out really nicely. So I sent a few of the shots. I think I might have sent some to you, Paul, or I might have uploaded them to Instagram. But, this is pretty much my only 110 camera for now.
And you got it from a dump, which I think is a pretty good headline.
Yes.
So thanks to everyone who has been sending in the photo. So we will be going through ones that people have submitted on Instagram for the competition. We will reveal a winner of everyone who submitted there. And then also there's some ones that people have randomly sent in to us, which we'll share as well. We've got some photos lined up, so hopefully really fun. We've also got a video, an interview we hear coming in soon. A live interview, pre-recorded live.
Yeah, pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, pretty soon. So there's lots to get stuck into. Before we do, we should probably account for the fact that not everyone watching this video knows what we're talking about. In the nicest possible way, because these are not the most common film formats. They get a lot of noise on social media, perhaps. They're not the most common. Please do write in the comments your own experiences so we can get a feel for who knows what. But let's start off, and I think we're going to do a little bit of a history lesson. Marina, it's the older format, 110, so I think you're going to talk us through a little bit of the background. So what is...
Yep. Sorry,
if you're on the phone. Sorry, I'll let you finish on the phone. So 110, what is it? When did it come about? What's the story?
Cool. So the 110 film, it was introduced by Kodak in 1972. And well, I don't know if you can see it, but the film is like fully housed in a plastic cartridge, and inside there is like, well, obviously you have the film, and there is a continuous back paper. Then when you load it, well, it's super easy to load and to unload the film in your camera. And then when you take a photograph and you advance the photo, you'll see here how many exposures you have left. And also this film is usually pre-exposed, so with the frames, lines, and all the numbers. So you will see if you scan the whole film, you will see how cool it is. And the good thing about...
I'll just actually quickly flip up one of the... There we go. So on the screen now, you've got your photos shot on lomography Tiger. We can see.
Yes. So you can see all the framing lines, and also, well, the film stock normally. The good thing that we probably will talk about is that you can buy fresh film. There's a lot of films that we can buy 110, by the way.
Yeah, perfect. No, that's good. So yeah, exactly. It's quite old. It's still going strong. And on that note, Rob, a bit of background on APS, please, mate.
Nice way to leave it, Marina.
Sorry, did I? Is that a trouble?
No, you're fine. You're fine. All right, so APS was introduced in 1996, which was not that long ago. Kodak was involved, and Fujifilm was involved, and I think Agfa was involved as well. And so they brought in their own versions, Advantix, Nexia, Futura. There might have been others, but those are the ones I know of at the moment. It was designed to make film better, actually. If you all remember, well, you know how loading 35mm can be a bit tricky. Sometimes it helps just to sit down, but with APS, you could just open it up, drop the can in, and you get your little canister like that. It's to just drop straight in, and then it loads by itself, and then when you're ready, you press a button and you unload it. And it rewinds and then you unload it, which is great. With 35mm, we've all, and you can't say you haven't done this before, opened it and there's been film in the back and you've exposed it. You can't do that with APS because before the camera lets you open it, it has to rewind the film all the way into the can, which is pretty cool. It was never really for professionals. It was more for travelers and people that were on holiday, people on trips, people that weren't really didn't want to get into the technical details of their camera. They just wanted to take it out, went and shoot, etc. I suppose because the film is so small compared to a 35mm, I don't have a 35mm roll with me. It meant the cameras could be smaller as well. That made it even easier to travel. Unfortunately, I think they timed it pretty badly because I suppose towards the end of the 90s, people were starting to buy digital films. To buy a digital camera and film. Sorry, I'm not talking about Yashika here. And then film, pretty much the sales went off a cliff in the late 90s, didn't they? And so they timed it really badly. There are some conspiracy theories that it was to sell more film. It was a way to bring in another format to sell more film. One conspiracy theory goes that Kodak to dominate the film development market, and so they had to either encourage labs to buy their Kodak developing equipment for APS, or that's what they had to do, I suppose. And so Kodak would dominate the market in that way. So it forced the labs to buy a lot more money. A lot more equipment is very expensive.
Yes, it is indeed.
One thing that was really great about the APS format is you could choose 3 different formats. There was HD, there was P, and there was C. There was C.
Yes.
Which were a really good way of helping you to choose what shape your picture would come out. So panorama, P was for panorama, longer image. C was for classic, and HD was a bit closer to a 35mm frame. But that was pretty much a scam.
And by the way, sorry, just to jump in there, because we actually found, while we were doing this, my wife found some APS prints, and this is how they came. So let me just go onto my full screen here. We'll talk about the negatives in a minute, but there we go.
Yeah, go for it.
This is it.
That's
It's from
cute.
Boots. You can see it's not 6x4, it is longer, because when you got them printed, they came in the format that you decided. And as she says, you didn't necessarily whether it made sense or not. So this is my grandparents-in-law. Maybe panorama wasn't needed, or maybe it's just to fit the full extent of the 70s sofa. Not sure. This one is my wife, very young, and it's a very from floor to ceiling panorama. But of course, then you had a slightly more normal one, which was still longer than 6x4. And then she couldn't remember why you got this, but this is when you chose a certain format, you'd actually get two versions. One of them.
I've never seen that version.
No, me neither.
So there we go. So that's a little bit, and that would come straight back from the lab like that, apparently costing quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
It would cost a lot more, but you'd have that choice, wouldn't you? I chose to have 24 versions of the same panorama. I chose that, but unfortunately, that was a big scam because you weren't really getting more. You were just getting it cropped out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fully surprised. I know.
I saw actually there was I don't know whether you guys follow is it Memes on Film, or there's an Instagram account.
Yeah.
And they had this where it was like some kind of flexing comparison. It's somebody who has like the proper X-Pan and it opens up, and it's the APS, and panorama view shortens the top. It doesn't actually extend it at all.
No, it doesn't. You just lose information, don't
That's high tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does APS stand for?
Advanced Photography System.
I see.
But we digress. Yes, the cropping is a scam, but there was more to APS than scam. There was optical imagery, and is it optical imagery? There were two. There was one that was magnetic and one that was optical. And so the camera would write certain information on the film, date, time. It would also put, some cameras you can put a message on, like just so happen to have my Minolta here.
Oh, really? Can you put a message? Can I put a message? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
well, I didn't get the memo that we all had to have Minolta APS cameras.
Sorry.
Flip it down and you look where it says title. You press title and you can choose from a number of titles. You can even choose the language. You can even choose
the language.
Yeah.
Hangul. Hey.
But it doesn't tell you what the message is. It gives you a code for the message.
Don't you think that this camera looks like a DVD player or mini disc player?
Yeah, from the 80s.
Well, hang on a sec, guys. I don't know why you guys are flexing so hard. I've got the Leclerc.
No. We're not talking about that camera.
Oh, sorry, 35mm. Sorry, back to you.
It's similar. It's very similar. Have I finished with APS and the history pressure? I think that's
I have a question for you, Rob, by the way. So do you think that, you said that it was more about timing, don't you think? So you think that, for example, if they announce it, I don't know, like 10 years earlier, it would be a success, or it would be like, it ended up like, I don't know if you do remember the mini discs, or my father used to have a lot of mini discs. But do you think that even though they released it 10 years ago, it will die like a mini disc did, or what do you think? Do you think it was just the timing?
I think the timing was definitely bad. We can't argue with the fact that people were going towards digital anyway. I think, ironically, encouraging labs to buy more equipment, which is going to be very expensive,
yes, it is,
would discourage them from doing it in the first place, wouldn't it? It would also. So I don't think they were doing themselves any favors there.
I think it's one of those things as well where you look at what you're talking about, and I've made a lot of jokes already. I will try and slow down a little bit. But Advanced Photography System, it was designed to be for the consumer, not for the professional, but easier than 35mm, easier for people loading and unloading. So like avoiding the most common mistakes people had, stopping people from screwing things up, making it easy for the labs to do stuff. It was designed to remove a lot of the problems that people saw from consumer photography. But what enabled that was a lot of electronics that would make that was part of the digital revolution. But the very first bit, like the auto exposure, it had like a very advanced DX coding, isn't it? It's got so it brings in some of that computing technology and all the buttons and the things, and you see that, and it looks a bit like a DVD player or an early digital camera. I've just seen Ben saying mini disc isn't dead; it's just taking a nap. Brilliant.
He's not taking a nap, Ben. Come on.
I love mini discs.
Exactly, Ben, mate. Well, we'll get a doctor to come talk to you afterwards because.
And Rob, I have another question because this was my first film. Actually, well, this was my first APS film. Is it possible to, for example, take 15 photographs and then use another film, or you can reload it afterwards?
Yeah. So if you haven't finished your last frame, you can rewind the whole roll back into the can.
And I will remember.
Yeah, and then you can put it into a different camera or put another roll into that same camera, which is quite cool. And it will bring it back to the same frame as well. So, I
mean, besides of all of jokes that we can do,
there are many.
I think, I agree with you, Paul. That I mean, I think it was like it wasn't, a high tech. It was like for good for the people that like normal consumers,
And exactly. I think that's definitely fair. And a lot of those things is what Rob genuinely, when he talks to people about APS, they are the things that are enjoyable, and they're never going to replace a medium format camera on a walk. But we're not talking about that. And the reason we're talking 110 versus APS is that they're both smaller than 35mm. They're both designed to be consumer. I think I'm just having a notice come in. The video is ready. We have now got.
I see.
Is that right? And so we're
We're connecting it.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to show a short video right now of someone that you may or may not recognise, who is going to be talking about their APS journey, and I think it leads us nicely in to the later section. So here we go. Okay, hello, Mrs. Wonderland, as people know you. Welcome to the show. This is the first interview we're doing, and I think you're here today to talk about APS. So, what brought you into the APS world?
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for having me in my own home. So, I actually, turns out, already knew about APS. Because that's the only analog camera I ever had when I was little. I just didn't realise it until Rob sent me an APS camera. I was like, oh no, I already had one of these. So what brought me into it? It was given to me by my parents, and you had these 3 different settings that I used randomly and indiscriminately to take photos with when I was younger, and then paid a fortune to have them developed on different sized photos. It have a lot of very unuseful panorama pictures from when I was younger of stuff that really didn't need to be panorama.
And you've now come back into the APS world thanks to Rob London Camera Project. So what are your first of all, show off your camera and then talk us through your very first impressions of getting back into it.
So this is not the original APS camera in my life. This is one sent by Rob. I'm not even sure if it's the first one sent by Rob, because I think the first one got lost.
That's a good thing for the world.
As you can see, it's silver. It's by Canon. I'm going to show you all the features I know about. There's a time feature, which I haven't set. So there's an on button. I'll just take you through how the camera works. You press on. This bit comes out. And then you, again, randomly choose a setting. You can choose P, which stands for panorama. H, which stands for hey, take a photo. And C, it could stand for cats. So then what you do is you've chosen your setting and you put this bit to your eye, and then with another hand you press the button. There you go. That's how it looks. And then it tells you how many you've used. 16. There you go. It's got a little screen. And that's really how you do APS.
And where are you going to send your photos getting developed?
I'm going to send them to the Kodak shop in Little Chalfont at the Station Parade circa 1998.
Brilliant. Send them to
I'm going to, where we're going, we don't need digital cameras because we've got APS.
Brilliant.
Can I tell you about my project that I'm doing?
Yeah, go on.
I'm doing a project called A Robin's Eye View. It's photos taken from Minnie Mackay's perspective. Yes, you. Yeah. And so it's going to be thrilling. There's bath toys and all sorts in it.
There we go.
Hilarious.
So that is what it's like to be brought into the cult / church / terrorist organisation, whatever it is, of Rob's APS world. Rob, do you think that sold APS in the right level?
Yeah. Start young.
I think the developing point's a good one. So we're saying that developing is nice camera. The developing is required different stuff. So does photography take it in, Marina?
Yeah. So pretty much every lab that has a film processor can process an APS film. The only thing is that what is really a pain is that if you want to do properly, which is basically put the film inside back on the canister, you have to have a separate equipment. But if you don't have that equipment, you have to basically cut a bit off, and you will never get the film back into the canister again in your life. Yeah, and that's pretty much the thing. But I mean, they can process it, but then there is another problem where you might need to either flatbed it or probably use like a different sort of equipment. So that's why it's a huge pain for labs. Please don't send APS to labs.
How does it fit into negative sleeves? You know those books of sleeves that you can get. How does it fit into there? Does it fit okay or?
No, it doesn't. But there's the thing is that it doesn't fit even. I mean, it fits okay, but super it's not quite right. But the same thing happens with 110 films. Okay, so there is no. At least I haven't found any negative sleeves that can fit or neither 110 or APS. So always they are like this in the lab, obviously. I mean, these are mine, don't worry, yeah? I'm not putting...
Yeah, okay, at the end of it, when the show ends, you shove them into an envelope and send them back to a customer, yeah.
Yes, and with gloves, don't worry. So
are you saying that you need more of these to be able to put them back into the can, or you need more?
No, I need a special cartridge. So I need first of all, I need to have another machine with another APS cartridge, which is not this one, but to pass the APS film to that APS cartridge that I'm going to use to develop it. And then I have to do the same thing when I have to scan it. If I want to scan it, put it into the scanner, like it was a cassette. And I have to have it back onto the canister. Yeah. So,
and that's where. And do you mean so it would be a bit like a 110? So you have one that it passes through to the other and then back again. Is that kind of what you mean?
So with the 110s, I have to break the whole thing and then put Yeah. You have to twist it. Don't worry, we know the trick. Yeah, I haven't had any problems at all. But basically, we have to twist it and then take the whole film, obviously in a dark bag. We have to pull all the film out and then put it in another cartridge, black box, and then put it in the machine again.
Gemma Rochester has written actually, and she said when we were talking earlier, she used to work in a Boots developing lab when there was APS. So she's hoping that she was the person who did ours. So there's a special machine to wind them back.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Exactly, Gemma. So that's what we need basically to put it into the other canister and then to put it back on. So it's like a super long process. So if a 35mm takes from developing to scanning around, I don't know, 15-20 minutes more or less, an APS takes me 40 minutes more or less.
I'm going to send all APS films to you now, just because I know it'll annoy you. Do you guys?
What's your name? And I will know.
We'll move on to we need to talk more 110, I think.
Yeah.
But last question then. So do you charge more for developing APS and 110?
I think that we don't, but many places they do, because as I said, it's a lengthy process comparing with 35mm of 110. But I don't know if they charge more, it will be like £1 or £2 extra on top. It wouldn't be like a massive thing.
So that's a good deal for us if it's that much of a faff. Okay, then let's talk 110 cameras. So we've talked a little bit about APS cameras, and you guys have shown off some pretty magical stuff. With 110, there are a few. It's definitely a simpler format. It started off easier. People have said in the comments, I think, a little bit like a spy format. When you see the cameras, they look even more. I mean, they're still smaller. They're still the Minolta, the tiny, tiny ones that you see in James Bond movies. But in fact, did James Bond have a 110 at one point? I feel like he did.
He most likely did.
Probably did. Probably did.
He's a man of taste.
Yeah, never got. Did he ever have an APS?
Not yet.
Okay, must be in the next instalment. So 110 cameras are pretty small, as you can imagine. They look. So this is a simple one. This is an Agfa Mini. It's super basic. So there is no settings. There is one aperture, one shutter speed. Guaranteed for 3 years, but that was probably from the late 70s. So I think that's run out. There's a flash shoe that isn't a hot shoe, cold shoe. I'd probably need an adapter. You take the film out just literally by pulling it out at the back. And then the way you open it, so there we go. So that opens up like that to put the cartridge in and out. And then the way you open it is just go.
That looks so cool, Paul. That is so
But
cool.
do you know what it's cool? Do you know what's cool? Notice there's no winding mechanism.
Okay.
How do you wind it on?
It does. Yeah.
Shut.
Wow.
So the first time you close it, it winds it to the next, winds onto the next exposure. If you open it again
so
and
it does
close it doesn't
automatically.
wind it anymore. So that's how basic they can be. I mean, this is this is all plastic. You can feel it. This is my. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger. This is my current favorite, which is the slightly bigger brother. Same concept, but now you gain the ability to choose aperture.
Oh.
Nice.
Go from and again, it's designed to be consumer friendly. So rather than numbers, it literally has how cloudy is it, and then the same thing. So you have in fact this one has a cool button. Are you ready for this?
Boom.
Oh.
Yes.
Very nice.
And then I'm going to take user photos. This is Metropolis loaded. So it's on the 10 there, on the 10. So if I take a photo, let's make it. Yeah, take a photo. And then you go. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
Yep.
Wound onto 11, and then it's done.
Wow.
So there we go. So that's
Very
a fancy 110 camera. Do you guys have any cameras to hand 110 to show off?
I have this, which is the one. Oops,
Whoopsie.
I dropped it. It's gone. All right, now this is the only one I've got. This is the only one. It's a Kodak Instamatic 92, but I don't think it was anywhere near 1992. So yeah, the only good thing about it, I suppose, is this, which is what makes it safe, so I don't have an accidental discharge in my pocket. That's pretty much it, really.
Cool.
Marina, what do you have?
So I have the Pentax 110 Auto, which is lovely. It's really cool, and I love to show you guys how small this camera is. Ooh, and you see, super tiny, like the mother of her daughter.
Olympus. I mean, that's a decent small SLR. It's one of the.
Yes, it is indeed. Actually, because I was super surprised, because actually when you look through the viewfinder, it looks like a proper, let's say, SLR viewfinder, and
it almost looks like when you put it up to your face, it almost looks like you're just huge holding this.
but it's super cool. So it's fully automatic. When you take a photograph, you have to advance it twice, so 1 and 2 to take the next photo, and basically it's everything automatic, as I said before. But the good thing is that you can choose the focusing, which is really good. Yeah,
and that's an SLR.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So does it have interchange? I think there is a 110 with interchangeable lenses. Is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. Let me show you. It's super tiny. Can I take it out? Yes, I do. Hang on.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. Look at that lens. You could eat that lens. Don't eat the lens.
It's very cute.
Oh my gosh.
It's super cute. Yeah. This is just. I think it's even smaller than my hand.
Yeah. So that is definitely one of the coolest ones I've seen.
Is that the world's smallest SLR?
I think
I'm not sure about it.
No.
But it could be one of them.
Because I mean so it's automated exposure. You've got your focal length you can choose. That's pretty cool.
And
do you have any other 110 cameras that might compare and contrast?
Yes, this is the one that you sent me. The fish eye lomography 110.
Yeah.
Fish eye, baby. Which I still need to put a roll through because I haven't done anything with it yet. But how cool is it?
How are you finding the prices of 110, Marina? 110 film, buying it.
I mean, I don't know. I think from my point of view, which I'm a super budget film user. I think it's just a little bit overpriced maybe. But to be honest, I will highly recommend to everyone to get fresh film instead of expired film, especially with 110s, because that was one of the reasons that I wasn't not quite sure to shoot my 110 film, because I always develop and scan people's 110 films and they came out really badly, let's say, for not using another word. So I was like, oh, this is 110. Ugh. But when I shot the Lomography CN Tiger 200, I completely changed my mind. I'd rather spend a little bit more money on fresh film than expired film. Although, I mean, if you like experimental things and you want to try it, why not? But this is my recommendation. But yeah, I think a roll of Tiger CN 200 must be over £10.
Ooh.
No. Was it £7?
Yeah, it's 7 or 8, I think. Let me check.
That's close to hectare money.
Yeah, it's like
35 million.
Even expensive, more expensive than Portugal.
Yes. So what about you, Rob? So where you for APS, where do you go for film, and how much does it cost at the moment?
But it's really strange. People seem to be giving it to me. They seem to be.
That is so strange, Rob.
I don't get it. They're giving me buckets of it. Weird. There was a guy, I forget his name. I feel really bad because he's a nice guy. We were talking on social media. I think it was Insta, and he said he had some APS film to give me, and we met in Barbican, and it was like some really dodgy deal. And he had this big bag, and he had this lovely bag. I'll show you the bag, all right? And he had this bag, and I thought, is that full of film? And
no way.
It wasn't full of film. It had a camera in it. It had lenses in it, and it had this Minolta, 4 other lenses, and a ton of APS film. He just wanted to get rid of all of it. So
why?
And then there, I think Harry East End, I forget his last name. He gave me some as well. I think Ben Mills gave me some.
Yeah, he's just written. He just said he gave you 12 rolls apparently.
12 rolls.
Yeah, he gave me loads. It was that Agfa stuff. He gave me like, it was a brick basically. It was a brick of that beautiful stuff. So people just chucking the film at me. When I go online, I can find quite a bit of it online as well. I think we've already gone to the bottom, like the bottom of the pricing, because it's starting to go up in price now. I think people are starting to clock on.
You
Well,
never know. You perhaps after this live, the price will go up.
Well, I don't want to know who's right now bidding on the Pentax SLR. I think it's gorgeous. No, so I looked so for 110 film, fresh stuff is like £7.50. So the Lomography still make 110 film. I think that's the really big thing here. No other brand does, no other company does. Lomography still do. And what's great is they don't just do like the basics either. So you can get the colour, the black and white for £7.50 a roll. But Metropolis and Purple, which are like £11-12 and 35mm, at £8.50.
Can you tell the interesting story of this brand,
yes.
which is Fukatsu?
Yeah, so I mean, this is so the Lomography make the fresh stuff. The other brand that we sell in Analogue Wonderland is Fukatsu, that we import from America, but it has one of the craziest backstories I've ever heard. So if you listen to FPP, you might know this story. So Fukatsu, it was in about 2005, I think 2006, a guy popped up in Asia saying he is going to restart 110 production from scratch, not give any reasons why, with this brand called Fukatsu, and he was going to start with a black and white and a colour film. And he did one batch, he did 2 batches, they sold really well, people got good results, and then he disappeared. Full on disappeared. Like, no one knew where he'd gone, the business dissolved, but no one knew where it had been. And to this day, no one knows where the guy went, why he disappeared or anything. Mike from FPP got a call a couple of years ago, or even less, I think it's a couple of years ago, saying, from one of his contacts in Asia, saying, we've just opened one of our freezers full of expired stuff or things unusual. We found a massive amount of Fukatsu film that had been produced at the time, gone into deep storage, and has re-emerged. Now, Mike then tried to find the guy and get more of the story with no luck. And again, if there's somebody who can hunt stuff down. Anyway, so there we go. So it's expired film, but it's been deep stored. The results that people get back are good. So you haven't developed that one yet because it hasn't had its neck.
I haven't used it yet.
Yeah. But apparently the results coming back are really good. But yeah, if you want to do something a bit interesting, that is film that should give you great results. An interesting story.
The only downside is that I was trying to find a 110 reel. So online, it's just super difficult to find. Like the one that I found was like £70. Like, what?
Yeah, we bullied Duncan from Silverpan into buying one of those a couple of years ago, which he now does. And again, he gets really annoyed when I send him like one slide film, one red scale, black and white, and a colour, because he has to do them all individually on this tiny reel. There is no way he could scale that. But yeah, so fresh films available, expired films available, and then obviously again you can go online and buy loads of 110 film for pretty cheap. I think that's probably fair, Rob, because one of the reasons we used to sell APS film because I had pretty good supplies from people who could guarantee its reliability pretty well. Now again, with expired, there's always random, but you'd sample a couple of them, and that has just dried up entirely. So now if I get offers of stock, it tends to be from my less reputable dealers, shall I say, where I wouldn't necessarily trust things that are coming, that they'd been looked after properly. So I've just had to say no, because I can't get anything that I can guarantee the consistency of in the same level. So it might be that your quest has worked and people are now stocking up on it.
That wasn't my quest. It wasn't for other people to have it. No, the quest is for someone really smart and with their finger on the pulse of the analog community. Someone, might be good with an L, someone who's got a history of reproducing, potentially obsolete formats, for them to wake up, smell the coffee and say, okay, I think that APS is worth another go. That was the quest, not for other people to have it.
You've accidentally converted too many people. Do you think, though, seriously, that it would be a possibility, or is it one of those things? Because almost the challenge is that it is advanced, so it's not as easy. I mean, this is still complicated because Lomography had to create the plastic molds to get 110s back. Like, that's not a small undertaking. Like, huge credit to them for investing that. Do you think it's similar for APS, or because it is? I
think one of the things that makes it difficult for APS is that the film is a bit stronger because it has to be pushed in and out of the canister, whereas with 35mm, it's pulled, and so it can be a bit thinner as well. So then, like you say, there is the technical side of getting the magnetic strip on the APS film. So I do think it is going to be a bit trickier. I don't think it's going to be impossible. I just think it will be a bit trickier to do it. Also, I mean, if you think about the cameras, I mean, we talked about the 110 cameras. Most of them are not as cool as your Auto 110.
All right, Rob, you've gone full screen in the anticipation that there's some massive reveal coming here.
No, there's no massive reveal. I'm just thinking that basically APS cameras are better. APS cameras are better than 110.
Right, that doesn't deserve full screen. You're back. You're back.
I think there's more reason to bring back APS than there is 110. That's all.
Yeah. I think one of the things that we probably should talk about, and then we'll go on to showing some photos as well, is the negatives. Marina, do you have the negative size comparison? Again, you've now gone full screen.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm going to show you the APS film, the negatives, and then let me see if I can. This is the 110. So it's even thinner, smaller. Is that?
Yeah. No, that's perfect.
I'm doing it correct?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah.
Because how big is APS compared to 35mm?
You mean the negatives or the
negatives? Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't. So I guess that I don't know. I have to.
I think it's a bit smaller.
It's small. It's definitely smaller, but it's not. It doesn't look much smaller as 110 is.
Also, with APS, you lose a bit of the frame to some of that digital information at the top and the bottom. So the actual cells, the actual image itself is going to be a lot smaller than 35mm.
Oh, you mean the 110? Both. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, should we go on? Let's look at some of the photos then. So Marina, let's start with yours. So we've got up here, we've got your 110 Lomography Tiger CN200. In fact, let's go back to the very beginning. Let's go back to the first page. The first page, this looks like that APS. You've got some lovely shots of Bristol in the sun, I believe.
Yes.
So when you processed these, what did you think of the quality? What did you think of the colours?
I mean, as I say, I mean, are you putting the APS photo right now?
APS,
as it was my first APS, what I did is I overexposed it on purpose because it is expired. I wasn't sure if it's going to be like very like underexposed, like it's going to be super underexposed. So I thought I shot it one top up, and then I think the colors are brilliant. You know what, the APS the APS film that Rob gave me was from Tesco, which is brilliant. It's hilarious. I have it here.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
So you really thought you'd give her the best possible chance, Rob, at getting great photos straight away. Yeah?
Like, to be honest, I was thinking that the photographs were going to be like turn out very like not that good quality. But I'm really impressed. And also, this is my first time seeing the entire barcode and all the numbers, which is really cool as well. Like comparing with the 110, it's like I think comparing with the 110, it's looks cooler than. So
we go on to your lomography ones here, the 110, sorry. I mean, they look bluer, but I don't know whether that's just partly the scan as well. Were you impressed with the scans of the lomography when you saw them full size?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, normally, 110 frames are not that good to blow up, but I was quite impressed. Like, I mean, the details that you can get from a super tiny frame from a 110. So to be honest, it was my first film, 110 film, and I'm
showing now your friend's photos. I think this shows that point really well because this is 110, right?
This is 110, and this is the Orca black and white film, which is also really good as well. He hand developed everything, and I love it. I really want to shoot with this film as well. Yeah.
I mean, you can see like in the sky, there's definitely visible grain that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
But even still, like the detail, you can see I've got the traffic lights one, the detail in the windows in the building. Like, it's not as people sometimes think with 110 that it's just going to be a blur. No, that's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, then Rob, should we have a look at some of yours? And these, I think you sent me 3 APS ones.
Yeah.
So we've got your Land Rover.
Yeah.
Gorgeous colours. We've got your train. Ah, look at this. The couple, the platform, the long exposure.
So that was on the way home from the Hampstead photo walk. Actually, they were both taken. The first 2 were taken on the Hampstead photo walk. I used my tiny little Olympus iZoom 60 for that. I used the flash. There was, on that little compact, there was no way to select the ISO or to override the ISO, to push or pull or anything like that. So I put the flash on. I was quite impressed actually with that tiny little film. And also, I mean, one of the things about APS, you never know how, like you said earlier, how expired it is really, or how badly it's treated. That second one, we were waiting for the train, and I put the camera on the floor, set the timer, and put the flash off, and it did a really good job. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah.
Like the kind of
I love the couple on the right, and then the light from the train looks really cool. Yeah.
I want to say it was me composing the shot carefully and sacrificing myself getting on the floor, but I just put it on the floor, set the timer, and
you sat back, had a beer, just waited for magic to happen.
It was, so that was a tiny little camera of old expired film. It was,
that's really beautiful. And then the third one, the Suzuki.
That's the motorbike, yeah. That's it, yeah. So that was with in the Brighton photo walk that Anil Mystery was hosting for Lomography, and that one was using my Canon EOS IX. I love that. It's a full-on SLR with so many different features. It was amazing to use actually. But what I'm in love with the most is the color. I'm in love with that old bright red from probably 10-year expired film, which, like I said earlier, I had no idea before I got that film how it was looked after, and it's really stood up.
Yeah, if you tell me that it's Kodak Color Plus, I would believe it, honestly. Yeah.
It's a cloudy day. It wasn't too hot or anything like that, and it was just I'm really happy with that.
No, that's gorgeous.
Strange aspect though, isn't it? Strange.
Yeah.
Wide, but I like it.
No, it's beautiful. And I think you're right. Like that point on the film, again, jokes aside, like we don't want people to be scared off by the fact that the film's expired. And then again, when I'm talking about it, sourcing it for Analogue Wonderland, I'm saying I need 50, 100 rolls that are all the same, that are consistent. But if you go on eBay and you find a seller who has a mixed bag, but you trust where that comes from, that's totally fine. Like that's a very good way of getting it. I'll just show some of the photos that we've got then. So one of the things with 110 is because it is a smaller frame, I think one of the things I've noticed is that things that work really well are really simple subjects and really simple images. It's an example of one where that definitely didn't happen. But the other benefit of 110 is because these cameras are so small, and because again, like if you have something, and this is similar to the fisheye that Marina has. This is also a lomography camera. They make them still. This is the baby Diana. You can take these pretty much anywhere, and this photo was taken an accidental double exposure on a water ride in Universal Studios, where again there's no way I'd have taken a different camera. So I think thinking of the benefits as well of, are you going to get photos you wouldn't take otherwise? That's definitely a benefit I see of 110. But here's a great one that's actually my wife's, Lucy, credit to Lucy, on a fisheye. Really simple image working well. So if you tried to put in 2 or 3 trees, I think you'd start to get things lost. One standalone, just the colours, letting it really work. This was taken on a Halima. This is Lomography Metropolis. I really like the muted colours. The really strong flash shadow with the green, the green edging, I think is pretty cool. But again, really making sure it's really simple. I think as well, shooting 110 has forced me to simplify. So if you get a 35mm, especially with a big viewfinder, the temptation is to try and catch everything in it and really, see as much as you can, zoom out, and often you lose the strength of a photo. Is if you get really tight and 110 forces you into that, then that can happen. This is a red scale, which I think came out really nicely again. Very, very tight on the subject. And then this is...
the red scale is from lomography as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's availability comes and goes because I think they make it in batches.
That's good.
But yeah, and then this one again is a fisheye with a bit of lens flare bouncing around the plastic elements, but a really strong central image, and then everything else is kind of peripheral. And that's, I think, would be probably my advice on starting out with 110 is, rather than worrying about the small format as you lose detail, embrace it as part of the point of like.
That's true.
Point at strong shapes, point at simple subjects. Don't try and shoot big complicated landscapes or interacting street photography. That's not what it's for. But if you can get an isolation and a strong subject, I think some of the results are really, really cool.
Well, you can get a really good results with this particular 110 because it has really good sharp lens. Yeah, so that's.
I think that's the other point as well. Like the photos you're seeing there are taken by cameras like this that are plastic.
Focus free.
Yeah, focus free.
Focus free.
Focus free. Exactly, which then you can't separate the two. You're right. Something like yours, the SLR will be able to capture a lot better.
Yeah.
Guys sent a few ones in. I want to just quickly share. There's Ben Mills. I'm going to just, how am I going to do this so that we share mostly Ben? 1 sec. I'm just going to switch to screen share. Here we go. This is the man. You can see him. Hopefully, he might be on the comments or he might have disappeared knowing that this was coming. Ben on 110, really enjoying it. There's this beautiful one here of the fan that I think shows the point on the detail really well. Like the resolution here is really strong. And to say this is blown up onto a screen that is, HD level.
Wow.
If you had a print of that, that would be gorgeous. Oops, wrong way. There we go. And this is, again, Ben with his... Well, he's gone the other way, really, from a miniature camera. Looks like a fisheye one again. Really gorgeous colours that I've got coming in. And then here we've got some really nice shadows. So that's some of the results that we've seen. If we pull up the Instagram, so some of you were very kind enough to send in submissions to the photos. So this is now, we're picking the winners. We've looked up everyone who sent them ones in. Some special mentions. We really liked this double exposure. White Lace Daydreams, the one with the sunset. I think that's really gorgeous colours. I really enjoyed this this still life from Chromogenic Kid. I think again it's really nice and simple. Hey Hussein Ali threw a lot in. There's one of me. I think he's trying to butter up the judges. Shame. I think was it Rob? Did you call out this? Snow one as well?
I really like the orange in that. I like the orange and the way it mixes with the greeny blues. I love that one.
I think we're a bit behind. Sorry, I was talking about the snow one. I'm onto the snow one.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. There's a bit of a lag.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no, this snow one's really, really strong. That's on APS, which shows the colours. Again, this one is on... In fact, look at this one. APS and cross-processed.
Cool.
Really cool. This is the one with the really blue skies with the field in the front. Really, really gorgeous. Hussein taking a fish on a fisheye.
Hilarious.
Going for some specific double points there. He's getting some lovely, lovely lens flare with the cat as well on black and white. That looks absolutely gorgeous. But then on to the winners. So we've debated long and hard. The ones that we particularly enjoyed, we've actually chosen 2 winners. We've chosen one APS and one 110. APS, Rob, do you want to talk us through the APS one? So this is the Stig of the Dump, the boat. Why did we like this one?
It's really bold. Those colours, that red is really, it's a lovely smooth, and you can get the texture of the boat as well. You can reach out and touch it. It's just this lovely, in your face, centered on atmospheric image. It's just really nice.
So congratulations, Stig. I'll be in touch afterwards and you can hand select some goodies from Analogue Wonderland. That's one of our winners, the APS winner. And then the 110, again, we looked at a load of these. There are some brilliant ones. And after much debate, we've ended on White Lace Daydreams. Marina, what do you like about this?
So I really like how the person White Lace Daydreams composed all the images. I think it really helped to have the square format, and I don't know, I think looking at all the images, it's just the composing skills is like superb. I really like all the even the grain. I mean, I love all the colors and everything. In the house, like perfectly composed was everything. So for me, it's like the reason which is the winner.
I think the colours seem to feel very atmospheric, very warm. But also, I mean, what I was saying earlier, like it's so hard to take a landscape photo on 110, partly because of the square format and partly because of the smaller amount. The composition here,
I love it.
It's a massive bridge, but it's a really strong silhouette within. So congratulations to White Lace Daydreams.
Yeah.
Again, this is expired film, so people are not taking the easy route out here. This is one expired, one cross. So I will be in touch, and that will be another winner. So congratulations to the two of you and everyone.
Congratulations.
Really enjoyed. Oh, hang on a minute. I got applause. Where was it? There we go. And there we are. It's 9 o'clock. We've been round the houses on the two formats.
Long time. That's incredible.
If I try and wrap it up somehow, well, let's say, I mean, we started off by saying the reason these two in particular is because they have beautiful cameras that are smaller than 35mm. These are very much pocket cameras. These are ones to take around to complement your large format bellows or your medium TLR. As you think back on that, Marina, and as you've shot both of them pretty recently, do you have what do you think will make it into your regular rotation? Let's put it that way. What do you think will make it into your camera bag most frequently?
I will probably say the 110. Yeah, it's just I mean, to be honest, I really enjoy shooting with this APS camera. But that's the only thing that I always worry about is like I really like to shoot with a fresh film, and besides this one is quite smaller as well. So I think this is for me the winner. But I really love the camera, Rob. Thank you so much for sending me the camera.
No,
I love the 90 feelings. I love everything. I love all the modes, and I love that. And I have to actually try how to put a title on it because I haven't done that. So at least I have to shoot another APS film.
No, for sure. And I am looking forward to stealing Mrs. Wonderland's borrowed camera from you, Rob, to really try APS. So Rob, I'm not going to ask you which one makes it into your camera bag because I'm pretty sure we know. But if someone was saying to you today, from a camera point of view, is there any way you'd recommend looking for cameras? We talked about film, but we didn't really talk about cameras. Where should someone who wants to try APS start?
You could obviously try the Bay. Obviously try a Flea Bay. There are loads of people who I think would be willing to send one out and let you borrow one. So if you know anyone who has a load of cameras and they're happy to lend them out. I mean, Annual Mystery talks about it a lot. Actually, he talks about sending people a camera to try out or whatever. I don't think he's got any APS though. And then I suppose there's obviously eBay and charity shops. Charity shops are really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there were a load of APS cameras were made and sold. Like there is a lot, and they are only 20 years old. Like they are still going to be good. A lot of them.
Yes.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
And if you had to choose just one APS camera, which one would it be?
It would be this one, which is my EOS. It's my EOS IX. I first got this one, and then that's the first EOS IX7. Then I got this one, which came out a little bit later. It's a bit lighter. I can put EF glass on it, which is great. So it's a Canon EOS. I can put all that glass, all those lenses on. It's got autofocus, it's got portrait mode, it's got all that stuff. But I can also imprint the date and time on it, select ISO, push film, etc. Do it all. It's great. I love it. So this is the one I'll use.
Right now, eBay prices on that camera and on the Pentax 110 will be rising in the UK.
It has double the price, I think.
Exactly. We will all be bidding against each other. No, that is fantastic. And as I say, I think for me, I mean, I love the 110s. From a camera point of view, I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for one of those Pentax SLRs because they look stunning.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I really, really do enjoy the little pocket ones. It has to be said. Like, they're smaller than my phone. You can even have 2 or 3 in with like red scale, Metropolis, and black and white.
That's true.
That's a great idea.
But also, it is also worth saying that like we don't stock them, so it's not to do with Analogue Wonderland. But you can get from Lomography the 110 cameras, and they do deals on them reasonably frequently. I think they're 50 quid straight, but then they do deals on them. Their settings are light. You basically you can put them on bulb mode, which in fairness is pretty cool. But apart from that, they are brilliant little machines. And this one is several years old, very reliable. The other one has been through water parks and things, as you've seen. So, and there's fresh film. So definitely in 110, it's an easy way of getting in. Now, the last thing before we all go, I really want to do. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Rob, for coming on and taking all the abuse on social media before, during, and after. But seriously, like, I haven't shot much APS. I will do more because it is definitely, it definitely offers something that nothing else does.
I will send you some.
Brilliant. There we go. That would be amazing. And also, you've converted my wife, so it would be awkward for our marriage if we didn't do that. Now, the last thing that I want to do, Marina, you had an announcement today on Instagram, and I want to make sure we talk about this. I'm just going to pop up your Instagram post on the background. Film photography experience 22nd of August is what I'm reading. What is this all about? What should
So I'm finally, I have a really big announcement, which is I'm finally back with more film photography experience. And on the 22nd of August, which is Saturday, I mean, in a month, I'm going to do the next Nagoya film photography experience, which is aimed for beginners. And it's going to be my first, and I'm going to do in London. So I'm pretty excited. And also, it's going to be I think it's going to be awesome. And also, I also, I have to change some few things to ensure that we have a pleasant and safe experience. I reduced the group to 4 people, and obviously everyone has to bring a face mask, and so that we can, be really have a pleasant experience. And so it's basically if someone wants to delve into the analog photography world and know everything that needs to learn everything that needs to know, please, you can go to the ifwithfilm.com/Nagoya and book your place there. There you go. Excellent. And there are only 2 spots free.
So you put this on this afternoon, and 50% of the slots have already gone.
Yes, it's mine.
This is amazing.
Thank you so much.
So I'm sure for a lot of people who are watching, this isn't necessarily for us because it's a beginner's thing, but please do spread the word. And for those of you who have been following Marina's story for a while, she quit her full-time job in December to launch these workshops and run loads in the year. As we all know, plans were hit slightly sideways. So this is the very first one for months and months. It's in London. It comes with a Japanese lunch that you make yourself.
Yes. Well, in this time in London, I will have to order it as I don't have a facility to do it. But it will still be a Japanese bento box.
Brilliant. So
off those boxes.
They're lovely,
So shameless plug from me, in case Marina doesn't get embarrassed, please do spread it with your friends. Anyone who you think would really love a beginner's guide, anyone who you think would love to be taught by Marina all about film photography, please do send them that way. Thank you so much. That's it. I hope everyone's enjoyed learning a bit more about 110 or APS, or reinforcing the strongly held beliefs in the cults that they had coming into this. We will be back next week. In fact, we won't all be back. Marina and Ribs are going to be back. I am on holiday.
Hey.
How come?
Somewhere very glamorous, the South Downs. I'm not quite doing a Ribs and going to New York, sadly. But I'll be away. But Marina and Ribs are going to be hosting the evening, taking you through a wonderful new topic. And we'll see you all there. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.